Sure.
Brad and Amit, or if I can know a little bit about yourself, that'll be great.
Yeah, sure. So we're both based out of Australia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently in New Zealand until next year. I'm
Okay.
the head of cloud engineering for a fintech company. So
Okay.
I'm generally always staying in the fintech space. Been working with Kubernetes for a couple of years now, and yeah, have experience over all the cloud providers except for Alibaba.
I see.
Yeah, very similar backgrounds.
Okay. Perfect.
And Amit, you're pretty much the same, right?
Yep, pretty much the same. And we also have our own company, Odyssey Cloud, and we perform the same services similar to what you mentioned.
Okay. What's the name of the company, Amit?
Odyssey Cloud.
Odyssey Cloud. Yeah. It's based out of Australia.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay. So updates. I'll just share my screen very soon.
All right.
Let me bring up the Argo. So there's a few decisions to be made today. So we've made progress on the mono repo. Now the decisions we'll probably have to make are which cluster are we deploying Ortelius to? Because we obviously have the small DevOps cluster, but that's very small, and I don't want to scale that up for no reason. So this is actually failing because there's not enough capacity at the moment. So Steve, do we want to deploy to your one that has the docs and stuff on it, or do we want to start off by deploying to this cluster here?
I think we could take the DevOps one and just make that one a little bit bigger if we need to.
Sure.
And then once we get everything proved out, then we can go and hit up the production cluster.
Yep. I also I forgot his name. Sorry. I've also, you can see that I've deployed Captain using Argo for the captain.ortelius.io.
Okay.
So that way, Adam and it starts with you, then I'll just quickly.
Okay.
Let me just quickly get his name. Yukash Kishama.
Yeah.
He's working on the Captain piece with Adam. So that's an environment they can use. So that's in the Ortelius-Kubernetes repo. So that's an update on that side. I've got that going through from Azure front door, just the really standard cheap one. So we can enable multi-region down the line if we want to test out the control planes, the more advanced stuff in the Captain. And then, yeah, so if we want to, so on that decision, we can then make this cluster a little bit bigger and then start deploying everything. So if we go to GitHub, I can show you and then this one. So this is where we have all of our code for the application set, so mono and poly. So also, maybe you want to talk here, but so for all the microservice repositories, we're saying anything in the organization that starts with Ortelius-MS is going to be, we're going to scoop that up in the deploy branch in the folder chart.
Perfect.
Now, we could do all repositories, but we were scared that we didn't want to deploy something and that has like some script that does some production stuff.
Yeah, that's what you scoped it to is perfect. We have a bunch of other like demo repositories around the hipster store that's out there, and those start with like store dash something for the repo name. So what the filter that you put on there is the correct one.
Okay, and then I believe one of the charts is not in deploy; it's in like is underscore SVC for service or something.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll make sure that the branch gets moved over. I'll rename that branch and push it up.
sure. Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Cool. And then this is going to our private cluster as well, so that's working good. I noticed that. Let me just show you how we Azure portal.
So I'm just trying to understand. So, Brad, you're trying to use Argo CD and set up a GitOps process for microservices of Ortelius. Is that
Correct? Yeah.
Into a into a Azure AKS cluster.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely right. And then that's like phase one, and then we can start playing around with talking to other tools such as Captain. And
What is the other tool?
This one here is called Captain.
Captain.
It's a CNCF.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
is Captain like Ortelius product, or have
it's different? Yeah, they work together. So Captain is more release lifecycle management with quality gates. So
yeah, it's kind of like an event-driven pipeline.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Event-driven pipeline where you can bring your own tools.
Okay.
Basically, if you used Argo events, it would complement Argo events and do one better because it has the quality gates and approval process, which Argo events doesn't, or you would have to write your own.
Gotcha.
Just a quick run through, like this is the front door. So this doesn't cost as much as, it doesn't cost that much. It's just a standard one. But I did the ticket to the CD Foundation, and then they put in my CNAME records, and then we can add more if we want it to go to anything else as well. But we don't need to talk too much about this. But just for, so we have Captain and Argo CD, and then they route into the IP. Sorry, the load balancer, because I took out. I didn't want to use application gateway because it costs too much money. So this way we can leverage not having to use application gateway.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then the cool thing to connect to this is we can connect through Bastion service because it's a private cluster. So you come in here, and I actually spin these down when I'm not working on it to save money, because Bastion service costs $8 a day. So the cool thing is that you can spin it up and down only when you need it, and then you can come here to Bastion, and then this is a compliant way, and then I say Ortelius, and then the neat thing is that I can come into the key vault and then just get my SSH certificate from here. When it loads. Sorry, I don't know what visual through.
Is there a document or anything that defines the basic setup, or is it something that we need to talk through?
About
I would put that in a work in progress mode. The documentation around this.
Yeah, one of the challenges with GitOps that I have faced, Brad, while you're connecting to it is primarily how you set up your project structure in Git, right? Because every company has a different way of looking at the Git project. Um, the most recent one that we have done with VWorks GitOps tools, we had to use multiple registries or multiple images from the same registry because the approval mechanism was based on the image per environment, which ideally is not a good practice. I would uh, like to have a single image of any microservices that gets pulled into each environment, because it's like an artifact that you have tested in a lower environment going up higher up, right?
Absolutely. So the process which you're explaining is basically the flow we are following. Is your first environment will be dev or staging. Once it merges to master, it shouldn't really matter. Everything basically starts going through into all your respective environments. That's where Captain comes in to control the quality gates. So if, for example, staging is approved, then staging should automatically get deployed with whatever got approved via Captain. And it will just follow that process.
So that is where a little bit my head is not clear. I know in the previous discussion with Tracy, she also kind of explained the same way that how this is going to work. But does that mean that we are having separate repos that per environment? Because typically in a CI process, you don't have a merge that happens for environment, right? You just push your artifact from one environment to another environment.
Yes, but the environment to another environment is more infrastructure based. And then whatever state is controlled, your state is generally controlled in your respective CI/CD pipeline. Or
Correct.
kind of that was the old way of GitOps. So the new way is you manage it via multiple things. One is your commit IDs are important, or your, for example, image shars are important. So
Correct.
for example, if I have a dev environment and it's on branch dev, first I have a separate application set for dev. You don't need to have the same application sets for all your different environments. So individually, each environment may or may not have its own application set, depending on what branches you're trying to deploy. So in case you're trying to deploy only master branch on, say, pre-prod and prod, then that can be consolidated within one single application set where you have a quality gate between staging and prod. And Captain is the one who would decide that bit. And the way it will do it is once you upgrade an application or deploy an application, the only thing that should be changing within the space is the image ID or the image SHA. And that SHA will be updated via Captain using event-driven controllers.
Okay, so your image SHA is here is how I mapped it in my head based on what you said. You have a project, let's say any microservice, let's say it's an email service. An email service would have multiple branches like dev, staging, dev QA and staging, assuming that so whenever you're ready for dev, your dev image gets built, and the last commit ID in that branch is what your image gets tagged with, as that is your image shard.
Right. So you're going to have different configuration files for each of your thing. We are using Helm charts, and each chart will have its own values.yaml. And you will have a common template.yaml, template values.yaml that gets replaced with that image SHA using a environment variable type of thing.
Okay, so once let's say your dev is validated, then you merge dev, or so your Captain will say, okay, now you're ready for QA, right? So what happens at that point?
At that time and point, you will basically, the application set is just running as is, but your Captain then goes and makes an update on the image SHA on the value for that respective environment.
Okay.
So
So
that
Okay.
one, for
it's
example.
just the image which keeps changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your image SHA gets updated.
Yeah.
So that means that branch is now ready. But a question here is that what happens to the Docker image in the registry? Are you going to update that as well? Because
Yeah.
it's a pull-based deployment, right? That needs to be updated is what I would imagine.
So the Docker image is going to be there already, right? So the second you've built the image, your Docker image should be there itself. After that,
Okay.
it's just going to be you're pulling that same Docker image in all your different environments.
Correct. Your captain is going to update the Docker tag here in the QA branch and
Not
automatically.
branch, just the values.yaml.
Okay, the QA values.yaml. So immediately
Yeah.
that triggers a Docker build in the CI pipeline.
No, well,
No.
it would just reuse that previous image.
Yeah.
Now, if you're now, one of the things is if you're going from dev to QA and you're going from dev to QA and you're doing a merge and you're getting a new commit ID, because that's where you're pulling all your code together.
Right.
And that's going to be your last build. Then you would, at QA stage, you would get a new image tag and a new SHA, and that would be used in the values file going forward. It just depends on where in your pipeline your last build is going to be of the image. Most people at the CI level don't really worry about those images. They're kind of throwaway. And then the one that goes to production is going to be like the QA build. And that's where the image tag and the digest just get updated from the QA values file. It would get updated there after the build's been completed. We have a new SHA. And then when we go to like staging, we would just reuse that image tag and SHA for the staging, and that at that point we're just repulling from the registry. We're not rebuilding at that level. And then when we go into production, we just reuse that the same image again. So once we get to the higher stages, we're going to be reusing the same image of what we tested.
Okay.
To give you a clearer picture, Brad, can you open the application sets? I think it's more descriptive there than I was trying to explain it.
Yep, sure.
So scroll down to the part where we were picking up the Helm chart.
Yeah. You want the mono or the poly?
Poly.
Poly.
Well, actually, it doesn't matter.
It's about
Yeah.
the same.
Pretty much,
Scroll
a little
down.
bit different.
So you can see line number 39. So instead of the common hyphen part.base name hyphen values.yaml, that would change from common to cluster, where cluster is the name of the item. So on line number 24, you can see cluster is production. Similarly,
Okay.
you're going to have, it's a list. So you're going to have another list where production, and you're going to have staging, and you're going to have dev, etc. And line number 39 is the one, well, currently it's commented out, but once you put in the production and you have multiple values file, you're going to have it cluster hyphen values.yaml, where cluster signifies the environment it is in. And you should ideally have a template values.yaml file with one environment variable, which needs to be replaced every time there's a new image which gets built on the dev level. So then Captain is the one who will ensure that any of these changes actually happen.
Okay, got it.
So there is one git commit which is done by Captain, if that makes sense. So every time you're updating it from dev to staging, Captain will go and update the respective repository with one git commit, and that git commit will just be the commit SHA of the new image.
Okay. So So I just need clarification on how you're updating from dev to staging. What is the process there?
So that is going to be where the interaction between Ortelius and Captain will come into play. But at the end of the day, what's going to happen is there's, like Amit said, there's going to be a commit with the, well, from dev to staging. Let me ask this question. Do you want to rebuild the image, or are we going to take the dev image and move it out to staging?
Is this question for me?
For Uwal.
Yeah, no, so I'm trying to understand your process, right? So typically, you can't really move the image, because from dev to staging, you need to update the image tag at least, or rebuild the image, or update the image tag for changing the registry.
Yeah. So what would happen if we're going to, let's say we're going to go, we'll put another step in the pipeline, just to make it easier. So we have our dev, we have QA, staging, and production. So when we go from dev to QA, when you do that PR, you're going to end up getting a new commit at the end of the day. With the at the QA on the QA branch, for example. From there, Captain's going to kick in and recognize that there's a new commit on QA, and it's going to start its pipeline, which will do the Docker build, the tag, the push.
So there's a PR process when you're moving from one environment to another environment, and based on the change in commit ID.
At the lowest level, at the dev to QA level, that's where the PR would be. Now, once we get beyond QA, and because Captain, like Amit was saying, has these quality gates, we can then, and the ability to run test cases and things like that, we would then go ahead and use Captain's approval mechanism with automated approval and quality gates to move from QA to staging. And then once we're happy with it in staging, it would automatically move to production. So the last human touch would be the PR going from dev to QA.
Okay.
And like I said, there's approval gates on the Captain side. So if you wanted to wait till midnight on Friday to do the deployment into production, they have quality gates and gated pieces in Captain that allows you to set that type of scenario up.
Okay. And you are there separate registries per environment, or that's what I would assume?
Sorry, what do you mean by registries? Are you talking about the image registries?
Yeah, container image.
No, there shouldn't be. There shouldn't never be a different environment for separate environments, separate registries.
Yeah, so you may have a different tag. So you may have the dev would be tagged one way, and then once the PR, and that may be tagged with the PR that you're working on or something like that.
Right, because you're updating the Helm chart with the tag per environment with Captain, I think. A single registry could have the same image with multiple different tags, and the environment can be handled. Okay.
Yeah. Now, when we get to QA and we're working with QA, one of the best practices is not to use tags, but use the digest, because that's immutable and gives you a better audit trace down the road. So when we go into QA, we'd be using the digest SHA as where to pull, which version of the image to pull out of the registry.
Okay. Okay, I think yeah, I'm a bit clear now on how you're doing the GitOps.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think just putting together a high level diagram could help just to to get everything together and
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
people.
We're
And that's what I wanted to bring up. That's a perfect lead in. I was gonna do you guys mind if I work on that high level diagram and at least get us started on that?
yeah, sure. Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. I will get it. I will work on that and get it out there. Right now, I'll just do it as a Google Doc. I may do it. I may just skip that and go right to a markdown. So we can have it as part of our documentation piece.
Sure.
So I'll figure that out. And what I like to do is have everybody review it so we can make sure I'm not missing anything.
Sounds good.
Sure. Sounds good.
And I want to make sure that Adam takes a look at it as well. Adam and Ukarsh, because they're going to be working on the Captain side.
He's doing good progress in Captain actually.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't talked to him this week, so I talked to him briefly this morning.
Yeah, I talked to him on Monday, I think it was. And yeah, it's quite impressive what he's doing. He's quite a smart guy.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll have to get an update from him because I know we talked last Friday about kind of the overall same thing we're talking about today, how the process is, what tools you're going to do what. So I'll put that together in a diagram and kind of lay out one of the use cases, of basically what we talked about just now on how one of the implementations of GitOps. Now there's going to be different ways to slice it, but I think it'll be a good overall view of all three tools working together, or four tools if you count Git as a tool.
Yeah. This is quite exciting. Yeah.
And then, and I think I owe you some values files, Brad. And I will try to get those early next week taken care of. So you have some values files in the Git repos that are real, that has some real data in them. And I'll make sure that they're matching up with what is in the templates.
Sure.
Because I think some of the values files has some extra junk in them, and I'll get rid of all that stuff so it's easier for us to work with.
Okay.
Yep, sounds good. So then post that, we can also create a template values where the commit SHA. So you'll always have to have one template values file where the commit SHA is just an environment variable or dollar value. And then what your captain will do is always go and see that and replace that with the respective environment name. So it'll keep replacing the respective file, but technically it's not replacing the whole file. It's just replacing one line.
Right, exactly. And what I'll do is I'll at least get a base values file out there. And if we need to add, like you said, variables for the different stages of the pipeline, we can do that down the road. But let me just get a base out there for you guys to start working with.
Sure. Yeah. And just on Azure cost, for the other cluster, do you mind if I scale down the application gateway instances? I noticed that they're using 2, which is probably more expensive than we need.
Yeah, go ahead and scale those down.
Yeah, it's just got 2. I just maybe 1 because it's very expensive.
Yeah, I think that works for me. I know there's some weird things on some of the defaults that they give you are much bigger than what you need for what we're doing.
Yeah, it's quite scary actually, because the defaults are like sometimes they're premium and they cost like $400 a month for this application gateway, for example.
Yeah, and I've run into that before, like with our database. It was like this insane. It was like a 8 processor database when all we need is a 2 core. Yeah. So you'll be able to the The database will, we can share between the clusters.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
that we don't have to scale another database. We'll be good with sharing that across all the
Okay.
clusters.
That's a Postgres, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's that one right there.
Okay. And then should we make a new schema for like a DevOps schema?
No, it's okay. We'll just, it'll just connect up to the same schema
Okay.
and
Okay.
stuff.
So nothing, it won't rewrite anything.
No,
schema conversion.
no, the way it's designed, it's not going to step on top of each other. We can have multiple clusters pointing at the same database.
Perfect. Okay. So you use a connection string or identity for this one?
Yeah, there'll be a connection string.
Okay. Yeah.
And the connection string gets passed in as secrets for, we may just have to push some of the secrets over to your cluster with the connection string in
Oh,
it.
yeah. Okay. I can go and hunt for them and then just replicate them into our cluster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. So
They're going to be, if you go back up to the resource group, the cluster are, yeah. I think they're in there in that key vault. Let's,
By the way, while you all are doing this, there's a new way you can use customize with Helm. So customize works as an overlay with Helm and kind of a wrapper. So that's just something interesting. I found out this last week and
Nice.
I played around with it.
yeah, it would be, I think that's great to know. And I think we should just use the generic out of the box Helm templating for now. And then once we get everything kind of put together, add in customize. I'm very curious how customize is going to work with Argo.
I've already started using customize with Argo now. It's pretty, it's works pretty fine. The only problem is normally Helm templates remove a lot of extra work which you might have to do within Argo or your Helm, your customized templates, because there's a lot of stuff which Helm just takes care of out of the box, which customized wouldn't, and you would have to overwrite or write an overlay, etc. So yeah, there's more work required or more files required, and you have a lot more patch merges, but overall it works pretty fine. I've only run into an issue with Cert Manager with Customize, and that's because Cert Manager doesn't properly support Customize.
Oh, you know what, Brad? Go up to the cluster itself.
Well, yeah, there's no secrets in that.
Yeah, I remember. They're actually Kubernetes secrets at the cluster level.
Sure. Okay.
And if you go down to I don't see it there.
For secrets.
They should be just opaque secrets at the Kubernetes cluster level. There they are.
I'll filter by namespace.
Yeah, do Ortelius. It didn't help much. There's like the PG cred, the Nginx secret.
Oh, yeah, okay. Is that Nginx SSL certificate, is it?
I think so. Yeah, that is the cert and the private key for the Nginx.
Okay.
They'll be all the opaque ones.
Yeah. Okay, I'll copy those into Ortelius namespace.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, just copy those over to.
Credentials.
Yeah, that's going to be the connection string, and there should be a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't do it because the camera's on.
Yeah, But that's, those are going to be what you need to copy over.
Okay, cool. So we'll do, okay, we'll just copy those exactly as they are, and then the deployment should scoop it up.
Yeah, and when the Helm charts run and the containers start up, it should connect and we should be up and going on those. So, and eventually what we'll do is we'll have to figure out down the road if we want to stick with the DevOps cluster. We basically down the road, we need to merge the cluster so we're just not paying for the extra resources.
Yeah, that's, I mean, we can probably start making that decision. The reason we did our own cluster is because other people were spinning up Argo and that, and we didn't really want to.
Exactly.
Yeah, but now we're sort of at a more mature state. We could probably just say this is how we use Argo. This is the repo for it.
Yeah, yeah.
So because the ISTO that we need is not in this cluster as well.
Right. Yeah. So I think down the road we'll just have to set some time aside and make some decisions which way we're going, and get things moved around. It shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, our one will cost less, and it's a private cluster, which makes it harder for people that don't really know how to use it because they won't be able to do all this stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. Once we're happy with this one, then we'll take the other the website and the documentation and move them over into the DevOps cluster.
Yeah, because we can leverage front door as well where we need to. Yeah, I've been looking. All of my security, all the security and stuff is good for the other one as well. So is this one though. But we can make the decision later. It's fine. Yeah.
Perfect.
I would love to get rid of that application gateway though, because we don't. I hate how Azure tries to make us use it when we don't actually need it.
Yeah, I totally agree. The more we can slim this down, I think the better off we'll be.
Yeah, it gives us more innovation spending money opposed to double trouble.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
So I'm actually using the board quite a lot now.
Yeah. So I could not assign any tickets to myself when I tried to. So I'm not sure what I'm supposed to change.
You did a board list too.
Did you?
Yeah, because I've already committed.
Okay, so you committed to that. Oh, go to
you know what?
Go to the organization.
I was just going to say that.
Go to the org.
Yeah. We can just invite them to the org.
Yeah, that'd be one way. Or they're in the organization. There is teams.
Yep. Okay.
And there should be a dev team. And see if he's in that list. Yeah, just go to hit the plus sign right there and do an add, and it'll just tell us if he's already there or not.
No, it doesn't look like I'm.
Yeah, and just say all repos. And I think that'll fix it so you can assign issues to yourself.
It's a silly thing. I mean, what I might, Adam, I've been talking to Adam. He's gone a bit quiet, but when he comes back online, I'll add him as well, so I can tag him in tickets.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to use this board a lot now. The Ortelius GitOps board.
Yeah.
And then I seen that. So for action items for next time, I mean, we're still. I've set up Captain gave. sorry, I'll just assign. Yeah.
So once we set up the poly repo, so I was handling the Argo events part, right? So will the captain guy handle the captain part? Like
Yeah,
instead of
so-
Argo events, we are.
Yeah, so Ukarsh and Adam will handle the captain events part, and I'm
Okay,
working with
perfect.
both. I'm working with both of them to do the integration with Ortelius as well.
Cool.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
sounds good.
we're still very interested in the events as well.
Yeah.
For that piece of work.
Oh, so do you want me to continue with Argo events or?
I don't think we need to at this point.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So what about we've got that done, and then we've got a little bit of work. There's an error on the poly. I still can't add you, but I think I just need to refresh or something. I'll figure it out later.
Yeah, if he yeah, he has to accept the invite and then it should show up.
Okay. Can you accept? We'll just
Yep.
make sure now.
Doing that
So we'll
right now.
finish. We actually have to finish the poly repos this week, which will be fine. We might. It looks like it's all consistently, in the same chart folders with the values.yaml and everything, so we shouldn't have any problems there. So we'll get Ortelius working. I'll make one ticket to change over the secrets.
Yeah.
Move,
Yeah.
or copy secrets. And we're
And
not
then
using self secrets.
I'm gonna do let me do an issue for creating the POC. So Ujwal, if you could in the Ortelius repo, the Ortelius/Ortelius repo, if you could just update the README file and do a PR against that. And when you do that, it allows us to see and associate your user ID to the organization.
Okay.
You'll see in the README file, there's like different sections that you're interested. Just update. We just need a single line in there so we can get you in into the organization. It's weird the way it works. You can't do anything until somebody actually updates something.
I think Tracy, we were talking, she wants me to be more like a corporate contributor.
Yep.
So I have to do it with my company's GitHub account.
Either way, you could do both.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then Steve, are you doing the ticket for the diagram, are you?
Doing it right now.
Okay. And then that should be enough for this week.
Yeah.
Realistically 2 weeks. But at least we're getting a playground set up. So this playground should be done this week. And then it's going to be quite fun playing around with all these tools. That's the real fun. We're sending all the events.
Yeah.
Okay. How does that look to everyone?
Yep, that sounds good.
We don't need this token because they're all public repos, correct, aren't they?
Let me check your screen. No, you don't need any tokens.
Yeah. Okay, I'll mark this as done.
Yeah, and one of the things I usually do, like on our build side, even though they are public repos, we had to add in an SSH key to clone them without any weird password prompts and stuff like that. So you may run into where you need an SSH key. Just let me know. And
Yeah, sure.
those are already, I have those already in places, so it's just a matter of getting them to the right cluster and stuff.
Sure.
We would just need to add it into the what do you call Argo secrets. So Argo directly will read the secrets, and we can just create it using that.
Perfect.
So that way you can directly just update it. Should we be using no sealed secrets, right? Just a normal secret.
I've been just
Yeah, so-
using opaque secrets, Kubernetes opaque
Okay.
secrets. They're just the easiest for what we're doing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Sounds good.
I guess it's I guess Omega is the same because the sealed secret would make it like that, but you didn't
Yeah.
want any sealed secrets in the repo, did you say? You said last time.
Right. Well, I want to try to avoid the sealed secrets
Sure.
in the repo.
Sure.
We do have
No
a
problem.
couple that exist on our Google side. So there's a Google, and it has to deal with some user IDs at that level. But during so we use Google Cloud Build as the build process. And there's a couple logins that we need to do into Deploy Hub and Ortelius. And those are sealed secrets on that side, but those are coming from the GCP platform. For the Azure side, we should just do for everything on that, we should just do opaque Kubernetes secrets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
no commits into the thing, because there are two ways of doing it, right? Brad, can you click on settings? Repositories. So you can either go and manually create the repository here and you put in the SSH key, or the other option is you basically feed it into the GitHub repo and it automatically does all this for you. So that's the reason I was asking.
Right.
So either you will have to manually create that respective SSH key here. So you go and create a new password structure, or
Right.
we would have to commit that same secret into GitHub so that it automatically creates all of this. So
Okay.
once you decide on which route you want to go by, we can just go down that route.
Okay. Let me just double check the SSH key, which one's being used, and make sure it's not my personal private key.
That's what I didn't want to do, because then you're technically you're administrator of another org, and then yeah, it starts to
That's actually half the reason I end up using sealed secrets everywhere, like because I'm just like, you never know when you end up putting the wrong SSH key, which might be your
but
personal
then
one.
like but then
Right.
administrators can still get it as well. It gives them
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So
What I might
I've
do,
started going down the PGP token route, where you basically create a new PGP token, assign specific access to it, and only then use it. So I've started using that, where it allows you to use HTTP throughout the whole setup as well.
okay, that's interesting. I have not played around with the PGP keys other than for signing my commits. That's the one way I've done it, but I haven't gone any further beyond that.
I just remembered that we'll need Istio or ITSO, how you say it, in the DevOps cluster, because Captain uses it for blue-green deployments, and
Okay.
they don't require but it's better if you have it. They
Okay.
really
Sweet.
leverage it.
Yeah, you might
So
want to
I
check
am
the spelling. It's I think it's
Yeah. What is
IS.
it?
IS.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
There it is.
I always
Yeah.
have troubles like saying it. Istio.
Yeah. So next week onwards, I'm going to be working on Istio setup on my own thingy. So if you all need any, setup help, then let me know.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we can do this together into the
I have some YAMLs that I used recently for Istio setup. If you want, I can share them with you. Like I have
Yeah, that'll be super helpful, Ujjwal.
Yeah, I have a big doc. So one of the things with Istio is that when you try to install Istio, there are a lot of add-ons that comes with Istio. There are different levels of setup you can do.
Mhm.
But I was installing Istio on a cluster where I already had bunch of stuff previously installed, like Prometheus and Prometheus and even Logstash and things like that. So I've done like a base, just like a regular Istio install. I think that is what we are looking for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you using? Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Can I share my screen? If you, I can
Sure.
quickly show you the document.
I just put the issue. If you feel free to add some stuff in there if you like.
So I did it specifically on AKS, one of my team members. So Istio CTL installation, and then there is an Istio operator you need to install. So you can just follow this document. So like I said, right, there are profiles within Istio you can set up.
Mhm.
Like within these profiles, like you can enable add-on components like Grafana, Prometheus, other things, but I already had this set up previously. So I had to like comment out all of this, and so I can clean up this document a little bit and send it over, and you just follow this document and you should be able to install Istio and Kiali as well. Kiali is primarily for tracing. If you want to see tracing between microservices,
Sounds good.
cool.
So even the Istio part, are you using the Istio CLI or you're using Helm to install Istio?
So for AKS, I had a couple of issues with so I'm using Istio CLI, Istio CTL, which is Istio CLI, to initiate the operator, but which is the Istio operator. But apart from the Istio operator itself, you need Istio profile deployment, which is for which I'm using a YAML file directly as a deployment.
So you're kind of
Okay.
using both.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Will definitely your document will be helpful. We can use it as reference and
And just use it as a scratch pad and take it from there.
Yeah.
All right, folks, I gotta run off to another meeting here.
Me
So,
too. I'm just-
anything else?
No, I'm just updating the document as well with a few more notes.
Yeah, you can add a task or something if you want on mining. You can
Yeah, I put the issue there for the Istio, and feel free to reach out if there's anything you want to work on as well.
Cool. Hey, Amit,
And-
do you have some more time later today, or I don't know, anytime this week?
Yeah, sure. I will send you my Calendly, and then that way we can just keep in touch. And if we need to book each other's time, it'll be easy.
Okay.
Or I'm also on. I'm supposed to join the Discord channel for Ortelius, which I've still not done. So I need to do that.
Well,
even
the
that
way
would
the
be
way you
helpful.
do it is you talk to Brad, and then Brad talks to Amit.
Yeah, I'm like the
The
I don't know,
gatekeeper.
telephone bit. Yeah, because it's the same for Adam as well.
Right. All right, I gotta run. Thank you everybody for your hard work. It's
Thank
looking
you.
good, and we're making some good progress. I like it.
Yeah, not long now.
Yeah,
See you guys.
definitely. Cheers,
Cheers.
everybody.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Thanks, everyone.